Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So I'm back. Unfortunately, to some bad news, at least according to JPMorgan CEO Jamie Dimon, who believes this is very serious, that the U.S. is about to enter recession in 6 to 9 months. And he's not alone. Many others are coming out and joining in on this bandwagon. So, what is this all about? What should we do about it? Let's discuss. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com. And make sure you follow my other channels as well. This weekend I posted a ton of video for you guys. So I told you guys I was going to be away. I am back now. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So what's going on with Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is at 19,000. So unfortunately, we did not make any significant moves upwards. I mean, for between the last few days, we're hovering around 19.4, kind of stood there. Nothing happened until today. If you look at the U.S. market today, didn't really do much. NASDAQ did go down about 1%. S&P down almost 1%. Dow didn't move much. So today wasn't the worst day, that's for sure. Looking at DXY did go up slightly from last week, so about 113. You know, today really surprised me. Today is Columbus Day. And I thought the markets were closed. U.S. markets are closed, but boom, this morning I saw, wow, what happened? Did something change? I always thought the U.S. market was closed on Columbus Day. But anyways, but you could see two big headlines right on the front page from this man right here. And unfortunately, a lot of people does listen to this man, Jamie Dimon, who believes this is very serious, that the U.S. will likely tip into recession in 69 months. Here's the joke. The U.S. is in recession right now. So it's not a matter of tipping into recession. We are in a recession. It's already proven and declared, except by the current administration, except by Fed Chair Powell. It seems like everyone is trying to dodge this notion that the U.S. is not in recession. We already are in recession. 2 consecutive down quarters for GDP. That is the technical definition of a recession. And we had that already. Okay, so we're already in recession. So there's still a lot of people that somehow makes this recession word like Armageddon, right? Like somehow you can't declare it, because if you do, it takes away from it. So we have a lot of people that are still trying to cling on to this Armageddon word, recession, and trying to make it like, okay, get ready. It's going to come. It's already here. Okay. Now, to his point, can things get worse in 6 to 9 months? Can we slide further into recession or worse recession? Sure, that can happen, but we're already in recession. But why does Jamie Dimon think so? Well, it's what I've been saying. It's what a lot of people have been saying. Basically, he feels like the Fed is not doing the right thing, okay, in terms of raising rates at an astronomical level to battle inflation. He believes that the economy is still strong right now, so we should keep it strong. We should not try to weaken it by making everyone poor. That's not the right way to go. And I do agree. I agree. You know, the U.S. economy is doing good right now. All these economic data showing unemployment low. We just dropped 0.2% last week. That's good. 3.5%, that's low. Jobs are still being filled up. We have more people finding jobs right now, more people getting off unemployment. These are good things. These are great things. This is what you want to hear in an economy. But people are so fearful about the rate hikes coming up, it actually crashes the market. So JPMorgan, Jamie Dimon believes that this is a mistake. I tend to concur, because I think the way we're going right now, I don't know if it's going to work, because you still have a lot of ongoing issues that can't be resolved with rising rates. For example, what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. And even today, it was reported that there's further airstrikes from Russia. You know, this kind of conflict won't just go away anytime soon, or won't just go away tomorrow. And because of it, you're still going to have supply shock with many things, with food, with, of course, oil, gas. A lot of commodities are being affected. So that's not going to go away. So that's going to affect prices, of course. And there's other things at play. Supply shock is not just from Europe, but also overseas with China and some of the other countries out there. And let's not forget, supply shock also increasing because of the mixed balance of currencies right now. Because the dollar is so strong, all the countries, they don't know what to do. Their currency is so weak against the dollar, the trade is completely affected. And we're not even really feeling the effects of that, I don't believe, until the future, right? So there's a lot of stuff at play that won't be solved with rate hikes. And that's why Jamie believes that, yeah, this is not the right course. Not the right course. And he's not the only one. Cathie Wood is saying it may even get worse. Forget inflation. We're risking deflation. And almost every economist would argue that an economy that goes into deflation is much worse than an economy that's in inflation. And you might be wondering, well, right now with inflation so high, why would you not want deflation? We're talking about deflation meaning depression, meaning that no one is buying anything anymore. People have become so broke, they can't afford to buy anything. And that's when unemployment skyrockets and you have some of the worst, I don't know what you call it, deep sell-offs, the craziest corrections we have seen, right, around the world, not just in the U.S. That's what depression leads to. Deflation leads to, I'm sorry. Deflation does lead to depression, though. And Cathie Wood believes that we are heading there because of what they're doing, basically due to the same reason, that you can't solve all the problems that we have with rising rates and continuing that path until we get to some crazy level and eventually it makes everyone so broke that we don't worry about inflation anymore. We start worrying about deflation and depression. So it's not just Jamie Dimon, I think so. Cathie Wood also thinks so. And there's many others that also agree with this. For example, the World Bank, an IMF, the UN recently also came out, also said, hey, you guys need to stop it. What you're doing with raising rates is not good. It will lead to a global recession. So even the World Bank and IMF, and keep in mind, all these usually I would not pay attention to the World Bank or IMF or Jamie Dimon because they're so against Bitcoin. But I do believe they have a valid point right now. They see what's going on and they see what the Fed is doing, and not just the Fed, but also Bank of England and the ECB and Bank of Japan and Bank of all these countries, 40 countries in fact, are raising rates because that's the only thing they know, the only thing they could do. So all of these things are adding up and it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But there's one man that's making a whole lot of sense. And it's not Michael Saylor, although he makes a lot of sense too. But Paul Tudor Jones, which was one of the big Wall Street macro guys, a self-made self-made billionaire, says that, hey, you know what? This is the time to be stocking up on Bitcoin and Ethereum. He believes the same thing. He believes that the U.S. could be heading into some trouble, into some deep recession, depression, whatever it may be, okay? But he believes that Bitcoin and Ethereum will go much higher post-recession after we start recovering. And this is the time to be stocking up because he, like Michael Saylor and like Robert Kiyosaki and like, what's the other guy? I forgot this other billionaire's name. but you guys know Tim Draper. Tim Draper and so many others. They have come around because they understand. They understand that you can't trust any of these folks. You can't trust the Fed. You can't trust the central banks. They're not looking out for your best interest. They're looking out to basically make sure they don't collapse. That's really what it's about. They're making sure that the Ponzi schemes that they have started continue to run and not collapse upon itself. So these guys have all understood that, hey, a long time ago, they understood that, hey, we need to watch out for our own money. And, they have become very successful since then. But now they're all turning to Bitcoin and crypto for the right reasons because they just don't trust anything else out there, right? So this is very positive. This is why I believe we still need to stick with Bitcoin and why so many people are turning to Bitcoin despite the volatility, despite the day-to-day. I know it's not moving right now. It seems kind of boring. Some would say it's kind of depressing, but look at everything else that's going on. That's way more depressing. And it's really hard to overcome all these problems and all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt out there right now, right? A lot of headwinds. But despite all that, Bitcoin holders are holding strong. Strong, you could argue stronger than ever, as a lot of metrics show that Bitcoin is actually stronger now than it was when it was at $69,000. So this is the positive thing, and this is what we need to focus on, despite everything else out there. And here's something else that'll make you trust the financial institutions even less. So I saw this, and PayPal is now saying that this was an error, but there's no way in hell this was published as an error. It was published because people within PayPal made a conscious decision to try to battle in their way what they think is misinformation, and they were trying to punish people for it. Okay, recently we know that social media has been going after someone like Andrew Tate for saying he's been spreading misinformation, right? But they just banned him off the platforms. PayPal is trying to go above that. Not only are they going to ban customers, and they have done so for many people already, they're going to fine them according to what they think is misinformation. So they published this, okay? And I don't know how they thought that this was going to be legal and that they would get away with it. So basically, they posted something saying that their new bylaws or their new rules would say that if you are identified as someone sending, posting, or publishing any message, content, or materials that was misleading, you would have to pay $2,500 for each violation, as if they were the SEC or they were the CFTC or the what's the other one? FCC. As if they were some kind of agency that can actually do this. So think about how ridiculous that is. And then PayPal's former president, David Marcus, said that this is just utterly nonsense, goes against everything I believe in. Then Elon Musk tweeted, said, agreeing. And then now PayPal's backtracking, saying, no. We didn't really mean to do that. We just did it in error. Yeah, right. Like it could just be done in error that they just type all this and they thought about how much they were going to charge customers for misinformation. This whole thing, I mean, they should be looked at. PayPal should actually be, I don't know what agency would govern them if it's the SEC because they're publicly traded, I don't know. But someone should be looking at what they just did here, even though they backtracked. That's just so wrong on so many levels. But again, another reason why so many people are turning to Bitcoin. Because right now, if you're trying to send money worldwide, doesn't matter what you use, PayPal, Venmo, which is owned by PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, Western Union, bank transfers, wire transfer, ACH transfers, they all go through some centralized entity that dictates whether or not you could do it, whether or not they should allow you to do it. And sometimes they freeze your money and ask you for information on why you're doing it, right? But if you're sending someone Bitcoin, there's no one in the middle. It's just the network, and the network processes your transaction, and that's it. No middleman. This is why the Bitcoin is beyond just a store of value. It's also the greatest and most secure payment rails or payment network that we have today. And that is quite tremendous if you think about it. All right, now besides that, Bitcoin miners are still stocking up like crazy. The hash rate, just look at that big spike upwards, right? So not only are they hoarding everything that they mine, but they're also upping their hash rate in a big way. So that, of course, is fantastic. And, of course, we still have a lot of metrics like this. This is the HHR 999 index. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds impressive. But if you look at this, like many of the other metrics I've shown you guys, on-chain metrics, that show that Bitcoin obviously is near or at bottom, and it's at a good level for buying. Good buying opportunity. We have seen many like this, and this is just another one that shows, hey, pretty good time to be buying and stocking up. I agree. All right, besides Bitcoin, there's just a few other things. I did see Uniswap, AAVE. These are big DeFi projects. They're testing out the new zkEVM on Polygon. This is a big deal. Polygon already has, well, I shouldn't say already has because this is being tested in their testnet, but they already have their virtual machine, which is, of course, Ethereum-based, but they already have it within or using ZK rollups, which means that it is very, very fast. It's much faster than what Ethereum can operate at and process these smart contracts, and basically near feeless. So obviously all the DeFi projects are going to be testing it out because this will speed up their transactions infinitely for basically nothing, costing users nothing, right? One of the things I've argued, one of the reasons why I argue Polygon is essentially like Ethereum 2.0 already. They already have ways to scale. They're already scaling, and they have now a new way to scale even smart contracts. And so many brands and NFT projects are still coming aboard. So Polygon definitely still cranking away, moving in the right direction. So I like Polygon a lot. And then lastly, I did see SHIB Eternity came out. So some of you SHIB fans has been asking me about this. So it is out on Android, and it's a free play to earn card game. So I don't know. It looks pretty cool. It has not. I don't know if SHIB tokens itself has anything to do with this game, because today SHIB actually tanked quite a bit. But so far, 10,000 plus downloads and 4.6 stars. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But Shibarium, which is their metaverse, I think that's going to probably have a bigger impact in this game. But, you know, it's a step in the right direction, I guess. All right, that is pretty much it. Looking at today, unfortunately, down about 3%. Bitcoin dominance is, it's a little bit lower than last week, 39.8, a little bit under 40. XRP took a dump today. Cardano took a dump. Man, Cardano's under 40 cents. Cardano has been showing a lot of weakness after Vassal, and it didn't even have the pre-Vassal pump, right? And you look at something like SHIB, I mentioned, down 9%, Avalanche down 7%. Today, the altcoins definitely sold off a lot more. Unfortunately, there's a lot of fear right now. Near protocol, 10%. Remember, I told you guys about Near. It tends to go up very fast, but also tends to go down very fast too. These people have paying attention, been asking me about Near, how it compares to Solana. It does move very fast in both directions. Yeah, today's just not a good day overall. All right, guys, let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see. I'm scrolling up here. The classic IT guy said 2023 is a lost year for all-time highs. After having, well, we will have a true bull market. I don't disagree with that. I think 2023, there's so many people like Jamie Dimon right now that's predicting that 2023 is going to get a lot worse. You know, if you're taking a contrarian point of view, then you would think, well, if everyone thinking that the next, 69 months is going to be bad, maybe it won't be. Because there are some people that have been projecting that the next 6 to 9 months is going to be absolutely horrible, way, way, way worse than what we have now. You know what? Another time it seemed like this was happening was in 2020. Remember that huge drop that happened in March of 2020? When that happened, same people came out and said, hey, get ready. The pandemic and these lockdowns and quarantine was going to destroy everyone. And then the Fed started printing a whole bunch of money, and guess what? We had the greatest recovery and bull run we have ever seen during the most fearful time. So, you know what? Sometimes people just get it really wrong, right? So right now, yes, it does seem like rates going up and up and up and up, and the war ongoing and still supply shock, having issues. Who knows? Maybe things won't get nearly as dire as some of these people are projecting. Let's see here. Cheers with Coors Light. You know what? I'm a Miller Lite guy. Never really liked Coors. Dan, nobody. Well, he's quoting. Nobody, I don't care if you're Warren Buffett or Jimmy Buffett, no one knows if a stock is going to go up or down or in effing circles. Wolf of Wall Street. He stole that off of there's a famous investor, I forgot his name. That was one of his favorite quotes. He's like, no one really knows what's going on. Everyone is guessing. But if you're a long-term investor, you buy low and you sell high. I mean, there was a really good quote that this guy had. But basically, Dan, same thing. I don't trust Wolf of Wall Street because he also spread a lot of FUD about Bitcoin. And he even used him as an example. He's like, look at me, I'm a shyster, or I was a fraud. And it takes a fraud to no fraud, and Bitcoin is fraud. And then he completely did a 180. So I mean, that never sat well with me, right? Like, obviously he committed fraud, and then he tried to diss Bitcoin. I don't know what he was trying to prove, and now he's like 100%, 180, now saying Bitcoin is the greatest thing ever. But I think that's valid, though. I mean, a lot of people pretend like they know what's going on, but everyone's just really guessing. The market sometimes just can't. It's very fluid, and you just don't know who's manipulating, who's selling, who's buying, unless you're one of those big market movers. Then you know. Dan, another one. These bigwigs are market manipulators, creating fear to buy cheap. That is also valid, right? I just said the market movers, they tend to drive things low so they can accumulate. So, JPMorgan, I could see Jamie Dimon doing that. I don't know about Cathie Wood doing that. Cathie Wood has also been very, very pessimistic about the future of the U.S. economy. The FCC should find them for misinformation. Yeah, you guys are referring to PayPal. Yeah, I don't even know who was really the ones that would say it. Imagine if your bank said that too. Imagine tomorrow you wake up and Chase or Bank of America or whoever says, yeah, if we find you spreading misinformation, we're just going to automatically deduct $2,500 from your bank account. Think about how well that's going to go. Everyone will be withdrawing left and right. So I don't know who internally in PayPal thought this was a good idea. Honestly, yeah, whatever agency should look at them seriously, and the CEO should find the person and fire them immediately, unless it was the CEO himself. All right, I'm still trying to catch up. Michael, hey, appreciate it. Hey, 2 super chats from Michael. Thank you. Brad says, I don't trust banks. I don't think anyone trusts banks. I mean, banks are bad. I told you guys this story before. I tried to open a business account with JPMorgan Chase. This was like maybe early 2021 or end of 2022. And when you open a business account, they're like, hey, so what do you do? So yeah, I said, I'm a content creator. And then they're like, and then the guy's like pretending like, oh, okay. Yeah, but what, so what do you have, a channel? I'm like, yeah. So what do you talk about? And I mistakenly said, yeah, I talk about Bitcoin and crypto. He's like, oh, that's interesting. And I'm like, yeah, did you know JP Morgan has his own chain and coin? He's like, yeah. He's typing stuff in his computer. And then like 6 months later, I'm like, what's going on? Because the account just wasn't opened. Like, I can't use it. I called JP Morgan. I called a banker that I talked to. I called other bankers. They're like, oh, everything looks good. And then 6 months later, I get this letter saying, oh yeah, we're closing your account. No reason given. So, yeah, so it's you can't really trust banks. And PayPal, I mean, you guys think, this is really bad, okay? Like declaring that to go find customers. But I have been using PayPal since the beginning, basically. I was doing a lot of business on eBay early on, and if you were doing business on eBay, you had to use PayPal. PayPal acts like the police. They act like they're the FBI or something. Like early on when I was doing a lot of transactions on eBay, they would freeze my account, suspend tens of thousands of dollars, will not let me withdraw it, and they would say, hey, we need to do a credit check. Okay. We need to see all the receipts of everything you just sold. I'm like, why? They're like, we need to make sure. We need to know that, we need to know where you're getting it from and stuff like that. And, the whole process is just so time consuming. They just do whatever they want. And I'm pretty sure they still do that now. You just don't hear about it as much, but man, they just act like they could do whatever they want because PayPal's not a bank. So they don't have to comply with banking regulations or rules, whatever rules that banks comply with. So, again, you can't trust any of these financial institutions with your money. Let's see. Stoney says, being rich in your soul is much greater than being rich in your bank account. Very deep, I guess. That's true. What country is safest from World War III? I don't know. Like some war, some developing country, maybe very south. I don't know, very south in South America or Africa, somewhere where nukes won't hit and radiation probably won't get there. I don't know which country that would be. Jack says, deep dive into rise and fall of Terra Luna. I think enough people have talked about it. I have talked about it. Jack, there's no need. There's no need for that. It's already a done deal. Too many people, including myself, got burned. That's what you need to know. And Do Kwon is on the run. His funds have been frozen. His passport has been suspended. And he is on the run. Rob says, I love buying Cardano at 3 cents again and then capitulating once it drops below 1 cent. You know what? I made that mistake. For so long, Cardano was hovering below 10 cents. And yeah, I remember the days where it was like hovering around 3 cents, 5 cents. It dropped to wherever. And at that time, I made a mistake thinking, Cardano would never go anywhere. So I never loaded up huge on Cardano before. But you know what? Then once it broke 10 cents, it went all the way up to like $3, right? Even though it's down to 40 cents now, it's still 10 times higher than where it was just a few years ago. But I don't think it's going to drop 90% from where it is now down to 3 cents. I just don't see that happening. But yeah, if World War III breaks out, then I guess it can happen. People are saying, okay, safest country to go to, Canada, definitely not. Too close to the U.S. Switzerland, definitely not. Anywhere in Europe, forget about. Antarctica would be great. The moon would be great. Australia would probably be a good country because no one really cares about Australia. I don't think anyone's going to send a nuke to Australia. Mexico, no. New Zealand, possibly. Forget Credit Suisse. Keep your eyes on BlackRock. Manning, from what I hear, there's just like no way that BlackRock could go under. Credit Suisse, they paid back. They bought back a lot of their debt recently, so they're trying to instill confidence with people. I don't know if it's working or not, but I don't know about BlackRock. It's hard for me to fathom that BlackRock could be in financial trouble. Rich Q, hey, appreciate it. I do. Anything new on AMP? I have not heard, honestly, about AMP. AMP was not looking good after Binance delisted them due to security concerns because SEC declared they were a security token. So since then, I have not heard anything else. They've been pretty flat for the last month. No real traction. So until they get around that SEC declaration, probably not a whole lot will be going on. Tron bought Huobi? Wow. Did they really? I heard Huobi was trying to sell. I didn't hear Tron bought them. One BNB on Coinbase? Probably never. I don't think Coinbase wants to list a competitor's token. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Let's see. Costco's hot dog factory, probably the safest place from World War III. I don't know about that. Robert Kiyosaki said in his latest interview that BTC to 1K, the back of the truck, no more than 20K, buy gold, silver, tuna can. Yeah, I saw something like that. I think you mean 10K, not 1K. But I don't know. Robert Kiyosaki, I think he has good intentions, but he spreads so much fear, so much FUD out there, but yeah. Haven't heard about Thunder Network. Alexis Wong, I've never heard about Thunder Network before. Never, ever. So I have no idea what you're talking about. Tron Hoy. Did they really buy him out? Tron founder Justin Sun could be the shadow owner of crypto exchange Huobi. So it didn't really break out. It's like hidden or something. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's SBF. I would be really surprised if it was not SBF. SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX, he really wants to just get everything. So, I don't know. It looks like the news hasn't broke yet. Do you think things will be lower tomorrow? I want a DCA. This wouldn't be a bad time, but if you look at Bitcoin's recent movement, we have seen, this is obviously something that we have seen before. We have seen Bitcoin just kind of like dip down for no reason or due to fear of war or recession or something. So obviously 18.1, 18.2, then we had a couple stints at 18.6. We had one here, a week ago about right where we are, about 19,000. Can it dip lower? I guess yes, of course it could go lower, but we're straddling onto that bottom. If you're looking at a 4-hour RSI, we're pretty low. We're at that point where Bitcoin turns around. So 4-hour actually looks like we're pretty darn close to turning around. The daily is mixed signals. Stochastic is nearing bottom, but MACD is still flipping down to the downside. So the daily is mixed. But, I drew this trend line also. So you can see since November, Bitcoin has been hovering basically below this trend line, right? A few times it broke above, like over here, right here, unable to break it. There could be a huge breakout as we're getting closer and closer to this apex over here. So we'll see. We'll see. Do Kwon's hiding place is the safest for World War III. It's kind of funny that we laugh at this. We kind of laugh because that's the only thing we could do. But I saw this TikTok video of projections of what would happen if NATO and Russia went and nuked each other. Now, the thing is, right after the first few explosions, the first, the day or so, I think it was projected at, I forgot what it was, like 100 million, 50 or 100 million died, which if you look at in grand scheme of things, it's not bad. But then it started showing okay, day 3, 5, 10, 14, as the radiation started spreading across the globe, then the death count went up from 100 million to 300 million to 500 million to a billion. And then it kept going. The radiation didn't stop. It's keeps spreading until basically spreads across the whole world and basically everyone dies. So it's one of those things. It's if we do have nuclear war, you're better off to just die with initial blast because you don't want to die from the residual radiation afterwards, right? That's horrible. Those of you guys that watched the show Chernobyl, I know it's fake, but if that's how it is from radiation poisoning, don't sign me up for that. Not trying to spread FUD about it, but I'm just saying, no one wins with the nuclear war. Okay, no one wins. The radiation fallout is going to just spread forever. No one wins with war, period. I mean, that's right. That's right. The nuke wins. I guess that's right. Politicians who don't want to negotiate for peace have bunkers ready. I mean, even if you had, I'm pretty sure there's a hidden bunker for the president and all his staff, and they probably have sustainable food down there and energy, and they could live down there for hundreds of years. But do you really want to live in a bunker with, let's say 100 people for the remainder of your life? That's also the thing. Do you really want that where you can never go outside for like forever, basically? I don't know how long the half-life is for uranium or whatever else they use, but it's probably, over 100 years. So do you really want to live in a bunker for 100 years with nothing? So I don't know. Interactive says, I'm buying crypto till the bombs fall. I mean, I think that's a good plan. That's a good plan. What's your prediction for inflation CPI number? I don't know. Like last month, core inflation unexpectedly went up. I don't know if core inflation is going to go up. Overall inflation went down. CPI actually went down, but the core inflation went up. So I don't know if things gotten better this last month. I honestly don't know. I'm just assuming one of the things Cathie Wood says, and I can attest to this, is that commodity prices have been falling. For example, wood has been falling. Copper has been falling. Silver and gold has been falling. So Cathie Wood is actually telling the Fed, don't look at things like unemployment data and core inflation because those are lagging indicators. Look at future indicators like what commodities are doing, which they're all going down right now. So, and those of you guys that watch my house video, my latest one talked about lumber dropping a big way. So now maybe a better way to look at things, maybe not discount CPI or core inflation, but maybe take into more things, more factors, right? Before just going all crazy with rate hikes. If nuclear war starts, Dan says, my guess would probably be bad for crypto. Well, yes. Hoping for bad CPI numbers, looking to load up BTC and ETH. I'm gonna go against you on that one. I'm sick of these low prices. I would like to see some kind of rally heading into the end of the year. So I'm still hoping that November, December, we could get a good rally upwards, get some momentum back, get some enthusiasm back, get some hope back, right? Even if we don't, of course, things will recover. But, near term, that would be a fantastic Christmas gift for many. Fed is not going to raise any rates next month due to major stopping power. I don't know what that means. What's major stopping power? But, yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, the UN told Fed to stop it, and now all these big boys are coming out and saying we should stop it. I don't know if the Fed is going to listen. Maybe. If they don't raise rates next month, it's going to be absolutely terrific for markets. That's for sure. All right, guys, let's conclude. Basically, Jamie Dimon, Cathie Wood, IMF, UN all think that the U.S. and the whole globe is going to go into serious deep recession in the next year, 6 to 9 months. I would argue we're already in recession, but can things get worse? Possibly. But this is also the reason why we should stock up on Bitcoin and why so many people are turning to Bitcoin, because of what's going to happen and all the shenanigans that got us up to this point. So stay strong, my friends, and tune in tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, and more to share with you guys. All right, guys, last question. Dan says nuclear fallout or initial blast is not the worst thing. The worst thing is the EMP blast. Yeah, I think if there's nuclear fallout and the whole world's dying, I don't think we have to worry about EMP blast. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.